look here at Jesus, and there are things that look like apparent failures, things that were thrown at him, accusations, false accusations, things that weren't right, just the same way something was accused of me that wasn't right as well, all right? However, these people didn't necessarily forget. Now, they might have forgot when they remember the goodness of God and remember how good Jesus was and reacted to them in the midst of all this. But in that moment, that same miracle was not shown to have taken place here, but we see lots of other miracles. Now, to look at Jesus, for example, how about just him getting lost from his parents? Now, I know if it was my child, I would completely classify that as a failure, all right? If my kids got lost. And we talked about this with Mary, right? When we said that probably seemed like a failure to Mary. But if the shoe's on the other foot and all of a sudden my kids disappear and they're saying, oh, don't you know about my father's business? Let me tell you your father's business right now. That's what my reaction would have been in that moment. All right, but Mary didn't react like that. But Jesus here, again, getting lost and then justifying it as a kid, that didn't seem right, but yet we don't see it as sin or see it as wrong. It's not classified as that. I'm just saying, this coming back to this series, some of the things that we classify as wrong or as sin or as heinous in our own lives, the things we're dealing with right now. Sometimes you ever hear the phrase, we're making a mountain out of a molehill? Well, sometimes the failures of ourselves or our families, we're making mountains out of molehills. And we need to take a look at that and realize it's really not as big of a deal. The same thing that happened with me. My situation, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but at that moment, it felt like the biggest mountain. Yet God met me in the quivering little fears that I had in that moment and met me there. And God will meet you in those fears, but there will also be times where he says, no, you need to get over this mountain or this molehill, so to speak. Nonetheless here, Jesus, we keep going. There's so many things. We talked about Mary, like I said earlier in this series. We also talked about John the Baptist. How about his own cousin doubting him, right? How about your own cousin? How about the guy that was prophesying about him or about you, all of a sudden now is the one saying, hey, are you really the one? That could have easily felt, now again, we're trying to put ourselves in the shoes of the Bible characters inside of their lives. So if you put yourself inside of Jesus' shoes for just a moment, or his sandals, whatever he was wearing, all right, and just think, man, the cousin that was vouching for you, that was riding with you, that was, man, the person with you, this whole time, all of a sudden now starts doubting you. Yeah, Jesus' response was beautiful. Again, Jesus just responded like a king, because he was a king and is a king. All right. However, if it was ourselves, the point is that some of the feelings we're presently feeling, right, are not truth. And they do not dictate our situation. They do not dictate our future.